Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. There is at least one thing going up in Starmer's Britain, or really that should be Reeves's Britain, and that is the number of people looking for a job. Apparently, this number of job seekers surged at the beginning of August at the fastest rate since November 2020. In other words, it's now the biggest since the height of the pandemic. This is according to a survey by KPMG and the Recruitment and Employment Confederation. And of course, this jump, I suppose, is not unexpected. We've seen thousands, tens of thousands of layoffs, particularly in things like retail and whatever. And of course, nobody is really in the mood to be hiring, especially now that they've got to wait until almost Christmas, which is traditionally an area when people do hire because obviously the Christmas rush. But the very late budget is putting a lot of fear into businesses. They don't want to commit. Now, here's the other thing. Even now, they're worried about the Employment Rights Bill. Hire someone for 15 days at Christmas, you might end up having to pay them for 6 months because, idiots. But they say that weak confidence, not just weak confidence by corporate weak confidence, but weak confidence by the purchasers, us, the normal people. And concerns over costs, they say, are driving the slump in hiring as businesses brace for further tax hikes and more bureaucracy and paperwork. And it's going to be far worse than the last one. Last time she went, I'm going to do this £40 billion tax rate, but it's the last one ever. It could be 50 billion this year. Given the speculation around, obviously, all these horrendous omni-shambles budget, it's unlikely that there's only going to be any kind of significant shift towards the positive. Indeed, I would suggest it will get worse. Meanwhile, starting salaries are reducing and the number of startups are reducing. And so what you've got is fewer job opportunities coming up and at the same time, more jobs being lost. So it's going to be a very thin Christmas, I think, for an awful lot of people. And even those who are working are going to be so insecure about the future that they're not going to be spending much. They're going to be saving as much as they can. That's out of all the money that they can manage to save, because obviously even more of what they're earning is going in tax and not being spent out in the greater economy. It's almost as though Rachel Reeves is doing it on purpose. But that would incline to have some kind of intelligence. And you look in those eyes, there's not a glimmer. I've seen more intelligence in my dog's face, particularly trying to work out which hand I've slipped the biscuit into. Oh, he's looking at me already. Said the word. I've got to be going to get him one now. Thanks a lot. Bye.